Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. It looks like the attendee count for this webinar is significantly lower than previous ones we've done. No worries. I really appreciate you coming. Color change is a super common question we get. We anticipated a lot of interested people in it. So you that have come, I'm really glad. I'll go a couple more minutes before I share my screen in the presentation I'm doing, but really appreciate everybody coming. Feel free to type questions while I'm going. Feel free to use either the Q&A part or the group chat. Either one is fine. We'll go over all of them. I won't get to them until the end of the webinar, but I will address all of them. So any questions you have, let me know. And I'll give it about one more minute before I dive in. Hope everyone is excited for the upcoming Halloween holiday. I know my kids are. Should be pretty exciting. Can everybody hear me? Someone could just type in the chat if you can hear me. I'd appreciate it. I think you can. Just want to make sure. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. I thank you so much. That's very helpful. All right, we had a couple more people come in. Again, thank everybody for coming. My name is Charles. I'm the sales manager for A Major Difference, manufacturer of the IonCleanse. All AMD does is the IonCleanse. We do it excellently. We love it. We're glad you're here. You're all here. Out of curiosity, is everybody already an IonCleanse owner, or are some of you considering an IonCleanse? I'll wait to see what comes up in the chat. Awesome. And we have at least one practitioner. That's great. I love it when practitioners are able to make the time to come to these webinars. It's awesome. Your input and insight is invaluable. So thank you, Bonnie and Cynthia. Okay, I'm gonna dive in. As in the previous webinars I've done, I'm gonna cover quickly how the IonCleanse works. I'll pay attention to the chat. If you guys have come to the previous webinars, oh, that's awesome, Diane. If you guys have come to the previous webinars or this is information you don't need, let me know. This is a pretty small group. I'm happy to go right into the color change if you'd like. But otherwise I will start at the beginning. All right, IonCleanse by AMD. Welcome to the A Major Difference 2025 webinar series. Really appreciate everybody coming. Thank you so much. The IonCleanse system by AMD is rated as a non-medical device. It is not intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, cure any disease or illness. Consult a qualified health practitioner for medical advice. The IonCleanse is safe, proven, non-invasive, medical grade, total body detox. We're living in one of the most toxic environments in Earth's known history. No matter what we do, we cannot escape exposure to toxins. Water we drink, air we breathe, products we put on our skin, they are inescapable. Generally, when you think of toxicity or people think of toxicity, they think of heavy metals, and that's a great place to start. Heavy metals are absolutely toxins we encounter, and mitigating them is super important. But it's much more than heavy metals, and the body is impacted by so many more, in the food we eat, in the packaging we use for our food, in products we use for general daily hygiene, fluoride, ammonia, endotoxins, mycotoxins. They are ubiquitous. Um, maybe you've experienced some of these. Uh, the their impacts on you or your clients or your customers. They poison enzymes so they don't work properly. Toxins can displace structural minerals, resulting in weaker bones, damage your organs, damage your DNA, modify gene expression, damage cell membranes, interfere with hormones and cause imbalances, and even impair your ability to detoxify, which is the worst of all. And some really common symptoms of a toxic overload: fatigue, anxiety, brain fog, um, pain, depression, sore joints, headaches. And you can probably relate, and your customers and clients can probably relate. Um, Welcome to the IonCleanse. This is why we do what we do. The IonCleanse leads the way in safe and effective detox. It's a total body detoxification, safe and non-invasive, medical grade power supply, proven results, patented technology, 20-year history, and used all over the world. Voltage gated ion channels. This is how we detoxify the IonCleanse. Are specialized proteins and cell membranes that open or close in response to changes in electrical potential across the membrane. They are essential for rapid signaling in the nervous system, muscle contraction, and many other physiological processes. Voltage gated ion channels are, very simply put, the mechanism by which things enter and exit cells that have semi-permeable membranes. These VGICs can become blocked by charged particles, metals, biotoxins, inflammatory responses, histamines, causing them to no longer function properly. The IonCleanse by AMD mobilizes these toxins. It frees them up. It clears them, and clears the VGICs. Once these toxins are mobilized, the IonCleanse further helps the body eliminate these toxins. So the IonCleanse detoxifies in two ways. Charged particles, ions, are created in the water through electrolysis. These ions mobilize toxins in the body and draw some of those toxins into the bathwater through the feet. It's gentle, painless, non-invasive. Again, nothing is going into the body. Simply put, negative ions attract positively charged toxins. Positive ions attract negatively charged toxins. The presence of urea, glucose, and creatinine in bathwater post-IonCleanse sessions has been confirmed in multiple studies. The second way the IonCleanse detoxifies, again, way number one, toxins are mobilized in your body through the power of ions. They're pulled out of your body through your feet. Additionally, as those toxins are mobilized in your body, those ions also elicit the relaxation response, which is proprietary to AMD. We're introducing a clean, filtered bioelectrical frequency with our medical grade power supply. This elicits the parasympathetic response, empowering your body's own natural detox pathways. If you can believe it, more detox actually happens in the days following the foot bath than what happens with the feet in the foot bath. And we have research that shows this on our website. So ions are introduced or created in the water through electrolysis. These ions release toxins stored in the body. Some of those toxins are eliminated into the foot bath water through your feet. A majority of those toxins are eliminated through your body's detox organs up to 5 days following a cleanse. So what's the deal with the water changing color? Why do you see color change? We'll talk about the science and meaning of color change with the IonCleanse foot bath, trying to understand the chemistry, variability, and results. The IonCleanse foot bath combines water, minerals. These minerals are either from the water, or if you have to add salt, from the salt that you add, and a gentle electrical current to generate ions. The user places their feet in the foot bath, where ions mobilize toxins in the body and support detoxification naturally. The process of having an IonCleanse foot bath is known for color change, right? Anybody who's heard or spoken about detox foot bath color change is one of the first things they want to talk about. And you can see here there's lots of differences among the color change. The ions from the array and the water will interact with charged particles that are in the water and also from the person using the footbath. Even the array stainless steel plates can impact the color change, especially toward the end of their lifespan. The ions don't play favorites. When they neutralize charged particles, whether they be from the water or from the user, the footbath water changes color. The water will change color without feet. Here's a side-by-side comparison. You can see the no-foot water changes color. It does not change color as quickly. It is significantly lighter, but it still changes color without feet in it. And this is, again, the ions are neutralizing impurities already in the water. Color forms from array corrosion and chemical interaction with the salts and minerals. The reaction occurs even in clean tap water. Color change does not equal detox. The IonCleanse does equal detox. So simply seeing color change does not necessarily mean detox is happening. It will happen without feet in the water. However, using an IonCleanse will detoxify you, and your detoxing into the foot bath will impact the color of the water. Tap water contains pesticides, hormone disruptors, heavy metals, lots of other toxins. These will influence the color change even without feet. The IonCleanse will neutralize these contaminants while supporting body release and detoxification. A really common question we get is, oh, how can I cleanse with tap water? Why am I using tap water? Won't that tap water, can I absorb toxins from the tap water? Well, you can see pretty much as soon as the array is in the water, it is powered on. Even if your feet aren't in it or your feet are in it, color change is going to happen. That beginning color change has nothing or almost nothing to do with the user. It's typically directly related to the water and chemistry with the water. So immediately those ions are neutralizing toxins that are in the water. And this is one of the reasons we can safely recommend tap water for cleansing, because not only do we have does none of our research show the body absorbing any contaminants from the water, we're actually treating the water as much as we're treating the user. So there's a very minimal risk or no risk of toxins entering your body from the tap water. We're addressing that just naturally as part of the system and the ions interacting with it. With feet present, extra materials do enter the water. Sweat, oils, your skin. Additionally, biological debris and organic compounds, toxins, coming from the pores in your feet. They're going to enter the water and the ions going to neutralize them. This is where you're going to start seeing differences between a cleanse with feet and a cleanse without feet. It's also where you're going to start to see differences in cleanses between individuals. I'm super excited there are practitioners in this on this call. It will be awesome to hear some stories from them or anecdotes from them about cleansing different people and the different results in the foot tub. Color change is typically greater with feet in the foot bath. And independent tests have found biomaterials in the foot bath water not present in sessions run without feet. Again, color changes, ions interacting with the water, maybe even the array itself, what's in the water, salt you add, and the user. Feet matter. You are the difference. Here we have some images of foot baths from different people that are very different colors. The one on the top left and the one on the bottom are from conferences. So these are people using IonCleanse solos, same age arrays, same water source, and a very different result in terms of color. The starkest one I think is the one on the bottom with the two people sitting next to each other. And, you can see those colors are drastically different. Clearly, the user is impacting color change. No feet, with feet out in the water, you're going to get a light orange or brown color. With feet in the water, you're going to get darker water, and there's going to be visible particles, more foams, bubbles, and even fatty deposits. And again, this demonstrates that the biological input, the user, matters and impacts the color of the water. Colors can look similar but are not identical. Differences will appear in consistency, foam, particles, even smell. Smokers may have a smoky odor. Swimmers may have a chlorine scent. Gymnasts or some athletes are going to have a bright orange water from indicating joint stress. I had a customer call ordering replacement plates. Her son is a diesel mechanic, and she said that when her son cleanses, the water literally smells like gasoline. And she doesn't dump it down her drain. She goes outside to a spot in her yard where she's comfortable dumping it. And she said it's fascinating and remarkable the smell of this. And I'm excited to see if any of the practitioners on the call today have similar stories about the colors between people and even aromas between people. Each session is unique due to body chemistry and hydration, stress and overall health, even environmental exposure and diet. Over time, individual people, the same people, will see variance, texture changes, color changes as detox progresses. Here's an image. The top is a male, the bottom is a female, but just cleanses spaced about a week and a half or a couple days to a week and a half apart. You can see in the top left for the guy, it's November 19th, and then November 21st, and then a week later, November 28th, and it's very different results in the cleanse. Similarly, on the bottom, a woman on November 27th, and then a week and a half later on December 6th, and then another full week later on December 13th, and all of the results are different. And this is typical from cleansing. This could be what they are specifically detoxing, the area of the body that might be detoxing, their exposure over those 2 or 3 weeks they were cleansing, their body's ability to detox while they were cleansing. Sometimes, what if there's little or no color change? You might have experienced this. Clear water or lightly colored water may indicate the body is too fatigued or stressed to detox fully. There could be impaired detox for a variety of reasons. This does not mean the IonCleanse isn't working. When the body regains energy, future sessions will often show stronger color and release. A major difference goes to conferences and trade shows, and we exhibit the IonCleanse and we offer foot bath sessions. And sometimes people will come and they will detox, and there will be very little or minimal color change. And they will say, why is this? And we're not exactly sure why, but I will sometimes say this could just be impaired detox. I'm not sure why you have impaired detox, but a couple things might happen. Your body's own natural detox pathways may have a dump over the next few days, or it could be if you were to come back and cleanse again tomorrow or the next day, you would see a different result, more color change. And invariably, people come back, and the first time they cleanse, if there's little or no color change, the second or third time they cleanse, there's significant color change. And again, it's just those toxins are being mobilized in the body by the ions, but for whatever reason, the body's having a difficult time eliminating them. And continued IonCleanse sessions, listening to that parasympathetic response, getting the user relaxed will facilitate that detox, and we will see color change. Sometimes high chlorine levels in your tap water can cause no color change through neutralizing the ions before color forms, or ions from the array will prioritize neutralizing the chlorine because they're interacting with it first. The toxins aren't coming out of the user yet, and that will lead clear or pale sessions. This is most commonly observed in spring when municipalities boost chlorine in their water supplies. Chlorine contamination even appears in well water. We recommend testing your water if you have little or no color change as a persistent issue. The IonCleanse is still providing benefits by neutralizing those chemicals, by mobilizing the toxins in your body, and by eliciting the parasympathetic response. So even if you see no color change in your foot bath water or little color change in your foot bath water, just like color change doesn't equal detox, no color change doesn't equal no detox, if that's not too much of a mouthful. Again, we're still mobilizing those toxins in your body. We're still eliciting that parasympathetic response, and your body's own natural natural detox pathways will operate at a higher efficacy post-cleanse. Some ideal readings you want to make sure your IonCleanse is working. We want the volts to be between 10 and 20. We want the amps to be between 1.8 and 2.5. If your amps are lower than 1.8, just add a teaspoon of salt and switch the array around, or switch your feed around. Most likely you will notice if your amps are lower than 1.8, the machine, the IonCleanse, is going to tell you to add salt. And you should add salt 1/8 teaspoon at a time. All salt does is raise the mineral content of the water. And when you raise the mineral content of the water, you increase the conductivity of the water. Pure H2O is an insulator. It's not a conductor. It won't conduct electricity. There needs to be particulate in the water to facilitate the transfer of electricity. And minerals in the water will do that. And all adding salt does to the water is add a mineral content to the water. That's it. There's no need to switch your water source or water filters or anything like that. If you're having an issue with no color change and you can't effort it, call our office and we'll help you figure it out. Quick recap. Why is there color change without feed? Again, the ions are going to interact with the water and what's in the water. Clear water does not mean failure. It either means impaired detox or chlorine neutralization, and we can help with both of those. Darker does not necessarily mean better detox. Color does not measure necessarily toxin release. Why are there differences in color? Body chemistry and environmental exposure. Every person is unique. Their ability to detoxify is unique. Their toxic exposure is unique. Even the area of the body most detoxed is unique. So you're going to see variances in color. Why are there differences in foam or smell? Same reason. It's just reactions with oils and toxins released by the body, and everybody's different. And how can you fix a clear section? Well, the quickest way to try, or first thing to try, would be to use that salt adjustment method just by adding a little bit more salt. Let's say your amps are above 1.8 and you have little or no color change. It's possible there's a chlorine buildup on your plates. We recommend adding extra salt to the water, and over 3 or 4 cleanses, it should burn that chlorine off the plates. Color change is expected, but it's not a diagnostic tool. More color, again, is chemistry, not necessarily detox. Body materials do enter the water, proving interaction. Water quality, stress, and array age can all influence color change. Despite all of this, or even considering all of this, the IonCleanse remains safe, effective, and scientifically supported. The IonCleanse supports the body's natural ability to detox. Each session reflects a complex balance of chemistry, environment, and energy. And understanding this color variation just hopefully helps you build confidence in the process and the science. And I am ready for your questions. Okay, Diane, very often an on client will come in with an ache or a pain somewhere in their body. They realize afterwards that they have gotten pain relief as well as that relaxed, clean feeling. Love hearing that. How do we know when the plate needs to be changed out if a low or no color change could be due to the client? What is the best recommended water type? Okay, question number 1, changing your plates. The plates are consumable, they degrade over time. So the appearance of the plate is one great way to tell if you need to replace them or not. If your plate is very pitted or rusted or corroded, or there are broken or missing parts to it, or it's not connected through the sequence of the 7 plates, it is time to change that plate. If the machine is prompting you to add salt during the cleanse, you're not getting color change and your amps are above 1.8, meaning your amps are above 1.8, you started the cleanse, it said salt level normal or salt level optimal, and then as you get 10-15 minutes into the cleanse, it's saying add salt, and then add salt, That's a good way to know that's time to change your plates. And again, the plates last roughly 900 to 1200 minutes, or 30 to 40 30-minute cleanses. So you have a plate counter on your machine, both the Solo and the Premier. Pay attention to that plate counter. Once you hit about 800, 900 minutes, it's time to start paying attention to your plates. And from there, maybe even order plates, you have them on hand. When it's time to replace, you're ready to replace them. What is the best recommended water type? Tap water if you have it, well water if you have it. Any water works. It just needs to have a good mineral content. Bonnie writes, question coming. I'm sure it is. Jean writes, does your array work in different brands of machines? I'm not certain. However, I would recommend not using different types of machines. The IonCleanse by AMD is the safest, most effective detox on the market. It is, in our opinion, among all detoxes. Among detox foot baths, it's unequivocally the best. It is the only detox foot bath that's engineered to be a detox foot bath. All other detox foot baths, every single one of them is imported, either power supply, power inverter, battery charger. It's designed for mechanical or industrial equipment, charging or powering a device. It is dirty grid electricity. It is not designed for use with the human body. It does not clean or filter the current. It does not have a medical grade power supply. With the IonCleanse, you're guaranteed no hazardous voltages, no AC ripple, no leakage current, no harmful EMFs. These are all necessary in eliciting that relaxation response that's proprietary to the IonCleanse. Patented by the IonCleanse is our dual polarity array. So the array of the IonCleanse goes back and forth between negative and positive polarity. And that's the way the plates are designed, and that's also the technology we have in our system of switching that polarity. No other device can do that. So even if the IonCleanse array plugs into another device, the polarity is never going to change. So you could not only induce the sympathetic fight or flight response while you're having the foot bath, with another machine, you will not get the added beneficial detox of the relaxation response. I can't stress enough how much I would caution you to not use another detox foot bath outside of the IonCleanse. Tiffany, when do you recommend replacing the machine? How old is too old? Honestly, if there are 20-year-old IonCleanses out there in businesses, chiropractor's office, naturopath's offices, wellness centers that are still working. And if it's working, there's no reason to change it. If it turns on and it powers the current, it powers the array, and you're seeing those white bubbles, the hydrogen gas from the electrolysis, your volts are reading correctly, your amps are reading correctly, keep using it. The IonCleanse Solo has a 3-year warranty. The IonCleanse Premier has a 5-year warranty. Both are built with parts and designed to last over 10 years, and they almost always do, and they can go significantly longer. So if it's working, it's not too old. What is the ideal amount of sessions per week for continuous detoxification? Okay, just in regards to detox, not with any specific goals or specific client populations, just for general detox. We recommend between the ages of 15 and 50, you detox 3 days a week for 30 minutes. You can go every other day, but 3 days a week is significantly easier to manage than every other day. You can set a schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, however you break it out. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You just set those every day, every one of those days for 30 minutes, put it in your schedule. That's the most reliable and successful way to IonCleanse. Over the age of 50, same thing, but cut it down to twice a week instead of 3 days a week. Eventually, you want to get to a point, or your goal should be a once a week maintenance cleanse. It's difficult to say exactly how long that will take. It's different for everybody. I would say IonCleanse for 6 months, doing it the 2 to 3 days a week, depending on your age. And from there, start taking cleanses back. At that point, you'll be very familiar with the IonCleanse. You'll be very familiar with your body's response to it. You will have experienced those results at a minimum: better sleep, more energy, reduced brain fog. So from there, dial the cleanses back. If you dial back to once a week and you notice you're getting sluggish or tired or you don't feel as good, add more cleanses back in. I mean, it's very simple. Again, this is not a sprint, right? This is not a race. Like this is a commitment to long-term health. Bonnie says our clients like to use the color chart for a diagnostic tool. How do we use the color chart to compare it to what is seen in the water without using it diagnostically? That's tricky. So those color charts came with a lot of intention. Over hundreds of cleanses, practitioners would have in our network would have their clients connected to a device that read meridian activity. And what they would do is those practitioners would document the colors in the water, or maybe the particulate or what the water looked like. And they would also document the meridians that were being activated. And looking at multiple hundreds of these, we saw some correlations between color of foot bath and meridian activated. So, and I also want to say, if it's gallbladder meridian or liver meridian, like we're referring to an area of the body, not the organ. Okay. And that is where the color charts came from. I, anytime I'm not a practitioner, I don't have clients or patients or customers that I'm familiar with their personal and health histories that I could would ever want to diagnose anyway. But I do give lots of cleanses at trade shows. And anytime someone asks me about what the color means, I say, look, it's almost impossible to know for certain. Everybody detoxes differently. The color change is fascinating. We love to look at it. You can see amongst these foot baths, there are clear differences. It's remarkable. The only way to know what's in the water would be to do a test, a lab test, and that's oftentimes out of reach or prohibitive for people. And honestly, more detox is going to happen in the days following the cleanse, right? And up for the next 5 days, you're going to be detoxing more than you did in this foot bath, right? You're not going to be you're not going to be lab testing your sweat or your breath or your toilet water, like to see what you've detoxed, right? It's the same thing. It just what doesn't make sense. Why do it with the foot bath? Know that detox is happening. Know that you're detoxing. If a person is targeting a specific detox, like heavy metals or mold, run lab tests, right? Have them run every 30 days tests on their metal levels or tests on their mold levels while they're detoxing. And they will see drops in those levels as they ion cleanse over the coming months. Every month they should see improvements. That's a good way to know and prove there's detoxing. But looking at the water itself, I would not try to read that water. Now, it's not to say if you're a skilled practitioner and you're very familiar with one of your customers or clients' health histories and very familiar with ion cleansing and you're comfortable doing that, by all means, go for it. But again, not as a diagnostic tool, but just to speak to your knowledge and experience, what you're seeing come into the water, because certainly toxins from the user are coming into the water. What type of language can be used related to the color chart to support the client's need for some connection between watercolor and their session results? If what I said isn't helpful, I'm happy to have a deeper discussion about this. Bonnie, Charles at amajordifference.com or sales@amajordifference.com. I can send you a calendar link. You can book a call. We can go over this in more depth. Diane, if I don't detox weekly, I definitely start to feel the need. It flattens my tummy. Thank you. Awesome. Our Ion machine is nearly 20 years old. It works great. Wonderful to hear. I love hearing that. I hear it more often than I thought I would. It never gets old. That's super cool. How long before you replace the cable for the plate? Those array cables Kind of think of them like cell phone chargers. There's this awesome lady in our office named Cassie, and that's how she explained it to me. Sometimes you have a cell phone charger and it'll last you years. Sometimes you have a cell phone charger, it'll last you 6 months, depending on use. So again, if the array is working and everything seems to be going well, there's no reason to replace that array cord. Most commonly where it might get some damage is at the joint, like bending, it's possible wear and tear here could impact it and cause it to stop working. It's also possible that if you're not soaking your plates, you can get a lot of corrosion here, and that may impact the efficacy of the cleansing. But there's no fast rule. Your cord's going to last 180 days or your cord's going to last 500 days. Hopefully it lasts a really long time. The better care of it you take, the longer it will last. But there's no set or firm time. Um, Maybe Diane can say how she's had her IonCleanse for 20 years. How many array cords have you gone through, Diane? That might be helpful. What is the best way to explore why a client shouldn't hold a device during a cleanse? um to explain. I don't necessarily mind. Like some people do hold devices during cleanses. I'm not sure, Diane, where that question comes from or what advice you've been given to not do that. Um there's nothing with the machine that any electronics will interfere with. The IonCleanse is incredibly safe. Again, the only detox foot bath engineered to be a detox foot bath. So I have an IonCleanse at my desk. I cleanse at my desk 3 days a week. I do it while I'm working. I have my phone here. I have my computer here. I'm not aware of any issues or danger I'm putting myself in. You don't want to drop something into the water. It would be a bummer if they're on their phone and they dropped it into the foot tub. But outside of that, I see no reason why you wouldn't want them on a device. Diane, if you're talking about that now, I will get down there. I am just rolling through the questions as they have been entered. Um, How would you change your previous answers regarding continuous detoxification in a 12-year-old autistic individual? Tiffany, I would refer you to the TMR studies. Thinking Moms Revolution did 2 studies using the IonCleanse on a population of youth with an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis, and they are very insightful. And I have your email. I will send you those studies. Um, Diane, the ions are actually Joanne's, who was also in the meeting. Sweet. Um, Diane is saying that because we tell our clients to relax. I mean, that is a thing of, you know, relaxing is a huge part of the IonCleanse experience, right? In eliciting that parasympathetic response, you're going to feel relaxed. Ideally, the user is in a nice environment, a comfortable environment, warm to hot water on their feet, opening those pores up. Maybe music is playing. Yeah, if they're on a heated phone call with a customer or a client or a boss or a brother-in-law, maybe it might not be the best time to do that, but relaxation is important. I just assumed somebody was on their phone doing a Wordle while they were or detoxing. Yeah, you certainly want a nice, comfortable environment while cleansing. Is there anybody else who has any questions? The rubber wrapped around the end of the tips of the cord that connect to the array have opened up, cracked. Is that okay, or does this need to be fixed? Okay, so bear with me here. Are you referring to here? Okay. Is there if you don't necessarily need this submerged, okay? When the array is in the water, water only needs to be above the copper bar. There's no, if this is submerged, it's okay. It is getting wet. Water is around it. I don't as long as it's working, as far as I understand it, I think you're fine. The array cords are generally inexpensive. I believe they're 20 or $25. If you have a concern about it, I would say just order a new array cord. Um, but it's not going to shock you. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to endanger your client. And I don't think as long as cleansing is still going on, you're seeing those bubbles coming from the array at the beginning of the cleanse. That's hydrogen and hydroxide gas from electrolysis of water. Everything's working fine. You're fine. Um, Degrade the electrode. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. This is fun to do. Me talking, you texting. Uh, but again, if there are cracks here, you should be fine. If you do have a concern, I would recommend just ordering a new array cord. Can I use electrical tape to seal it? Um, I don't see why not. Again, as long, I mean, I'm not sure what's in the electrical tape. Um, I know that in like I have used electrical tape to seal and fix electrical devices in my own home. Not if you're submerging it in the water. I would say do not use the electrical tape. And if you're at a point where you're considering using electrical tape, I think you're probably at a point where you just want to order a new array cord. Yeah, especially in a business setting or a professional setting. All right, I have 20 more minutes in this call. I'm happy to spend it here answering any questions you have, color change related or not. If there was any question that was asked that my answer wasn't clear on, let me know. I'm happy to address that as well. You are most welcome. I really appreciate all of you coming. Thank you so much. Um, this is the third webinar we've done this year. We will continue doing them every month, the fourth Friday of the month. The first webinar, I made a mistake and did not record it. I apologize. The most recent webinar and today's webinar are recorded. They will be recorded moving forward. These recordings will be posted online soon. And when they are, they will be accessible. The slide deck is also accessible. If anyone has an immediate need for this presentation, I can send you the slide deck right away. And as soon as the webinars are available online, I will be emailing webinar attendees to let them know the webinars are available. Any recommendations on what kind of minerals to replace? We don't have any research that shows that IonCleanse with detoxes any needed minerals. That being said, people should be taking, or people probably aren't getting their daily value from their diets and should be supplementing anyway. And during cleansing, 100% should be supplementing and also staying very hydrated. As you use the IonCleanse and you detoxify, and we clear out those voltage gated ion channels, you're going to get better efficacy from any medication or supplements that you're taking, and you're going to get better nutrition from your food. Because if you have a toxic burden and you are taking medicine or supplements, eating food, your cells are not getting the full value of that. They're just not. They can't, because the stuff can't get in and the cellular debris can't get out. So you start ion cleansing, you start detoxifying, you're going to get better efficacy from your supplements, better nutrition from your food. So if a person is not taking a daily or some type of multivitamin regimen, and you're working with them, I would say start on it. If they're unsure what to do, work with you or their practitioner, main practitioner, on what's best for them. But the IonCleanse is not going to impair that. It's going to help that. That was a great question, Cynthia. Thank you. Are you able to elaborate on the extra settings for the Premier benefits or use? I actually did a webinar on that last month. Joanne, I have your email. I will send you that slide deck. After going through that slide deck, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. It's an awesome question. It took me an hour to go through it last time. I don't have enough time to address everything here, but I can email you that slide deck. You'll have all my contact info in the email. And from there, if you have additional questions, I'm happy to answer them. You are most welcome. Glad I didn't stop this a few minutes ago. This is great. All right, I think that's it. I hope you all have an excellent weekend. I hope you all have an excellent, hey, thank you, Diane. I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween next weekend. If you have kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews, or even if like me, you dress up yourself. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Thank you for coming. Next month's newsletter will have next month's topic. If there's anything you want to hear about, you can always send an email to me or sales@amajordifference.com, and we'd love to talk with you about it. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.